Members, what's up, members? How we doing? Welcome to the Outrealm. This is a podcast for you, members. Thanks for your support. I have hoodwinked my friend Conrad into coming back on. He's he's been on before, you know him. Kaijuicery, Conrad, hello, welcome.
Oh, hi, I'm back. Hello.
We're gonna have a cozy time chat, just about all the things that we have been doing and the games we've been playing. Also, we're gonna probably fanboy over Metroid Dread for a hot minute. I would assume. Um, Such a good game, but it's not on my. It's further on the list, so we have to wait to talk about that. But to start, Conrad, Genshin Impact, how's it going? I've seen artwork from you already, so it's got to be going well.
Dude, I'm committed. I am pretty deep into Genshin now. Just hit AR 55 today, and I want to say I've been playing for like 2 months now,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more.
it's not been that long. It's yeah, you have you but it took you like a week to get into AR 45 or something?
Maybe a little bit lower than that. But yeah, I binged this game like crazy. The first 100 hours went by in like a week or something ridiculous like that. I've been yeah. This
That's
game has
wild.
swallowed me completely whole. Yeah, I've drawn One Piece so far. I applied so I applied for the what is it? The content creator tag
Oh,
on
like
Hoyo
the
Lab and on Discord.
the Twitch streaming thing?
No, I think that's a more specific thing just for
Hmm.
streamers, but I know there's like four different categories for, video content and
Oh.
art content and um I think there might even be like photography or something like that. But basically the gist is, I mean, we don't have to talk about this for too long, but for artists, you just make at least one thing every 6 weeks, so like every patch.
Huh.
And then if they based on what they say, they'll evaluate your content and then they will give you the tag on Hoya Lab, which is like their
Like
forums on their own site.
yeah.
And then I think they're gonna give you some primos too. Uh but they reward you based on like the qualitative aspects of your work. Yeah, I don't know how true
How is
that's
that
gonna be.
measured?
Yeah, exactly. I doubt that there's like some, brilliant art director who's just looking through all this fan work that people are sending in. I get a feeling that they're probably looking at the number of interactions and metrics and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's weird to apply. You had to like be part of their Discord, but their Discord's been full for months with like 800,000 people, and
Ah.
I just had it bookmarked every day, and I just checked it once a day. And for
Wait,
2 weeks, I
did
just
did
nothing. It was always full, and then like 2 days ago, I finally got in.
okay, so you're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Suddenly, it went down to like 799,997 members, and I was like, "Hell yeah, let's go! This is my chance."
I'm trying to
So,
see if I actually ever got into that. I don't think I did. I didn't. Oh
d-
no. I should try and get in that at some point.
yeah, it's I mean, I can let you know. There's like a channel that constantly tells you how many members are in there. See, right now there's 80 or 800K and six. So I don't know where that six is coming from. Maybe they're bots or something, but
Could be, yeah.
yeah.
Dang. I assume they lost a bunch of people when they started mass banning for talking talking bad about the anniversary rewards. I know that was going on.
Yeah, I should have checked the Discord when that was happening. It would have been a good chance.
It was quite the purge happening. Uh, Wild. So you drew Zhangling?
Yeah, I drew Xiangling and with
Yep.
Guoba, inspired by the most recent event, and then I'm working on Beto right now, which is very good
Who did not win the
timing.
poll. I'm just
Who did
gonna.
not win the poll, but the point of the poll, so the poll that I set up on Twitter was against was Beto against Ball and or Shogun and Kaching,
Mhm.
and Ball did win. But it was really just a gauge of like, so like if Kaching made it first, I'd be like, oh, people actually care about Kaching. I knew that ball was probably going to be higher, but it wasn't by a ton, and there's like
Yeah.
tons of ball artwork online already, and not nearly enough of Beto, at least recently. So I think Beto. I mean, Beto is like my favorite design in the game, so I'm very
Oh, for
excited to
sure.
work on
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
The fact that she's a 4-star is honestly pretty surprising. To be real, I figured it's like there are some cases where you see a character and they're like, oh, that's a generic NPC, definitely a 4-star or 3-star, right? But then you see Beto, who genuinely like stands out, I think, and she's a 4-star, and you're like, oh, that's a nice pickup. Love to see that. Uh,
Yeah, I like, truth be told, I haven't even built my Beto yet, but that's just because I'm waiting for a C2. I only have one copy. But if I build her, I really want her to be good. Because she's like, people mainly like to use her as burst DPS, but like she can
mhm.
also be main DPS if you like really invest in her. So,
Triple crowned,
uh,
C6.
dude, you can actually triple crown her. Yeah,
Yep.
I like, but that it's mainly about her burst, right? And I think like that's one of the things I want to try and focus on in my drawing of her too. And so it's partially inspired by that skill, but then by that burst, and then also inspired by when she showed up in Inazuma.
Mm,
Um, which like that's my only gripe about how this game treats characters, is that there's so many that you barely see the one you like
right.
show up very often. And Beto is very much the case for that. So the scenery in the background, I think I'm gonna try to base it on that scene. But yeah, I don't know. Everything I like to be sort of inspired by my experience in the game with that character.
Love that. Maybe we'll get a hangout soon. It could happen. We just go day drinking with Beto. That's the entire hangout, probably.
Dude, more Allegra Clark voiceover, please.
Right? So underrated. Unbelievable. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Honestly, the only one I didn't really care about in the poll was Kaching, but I mean, there are. I don't want to make the Kaching stands mad. You will never find a more dedicated subreddit to finding optimal builds
Yeah,
for any
Kaching.
character in Genshin than Kaching
Mhm.
mains.
Yeah, I actually subscribe to Kaching mains on YouTube. Because they actually put out like very, I want to say, like efficient guides
Mhm.
that are like 5 to 8 minutes, and they're all called short guides, and they just like bust through the what you want to invest in, and like what are good team builds, just like super super quick. So
Yeah.
like as a resource, I think they're ultra good. But yeah, I haven't gone into like I don't know, maybe the simping or the fanboy ism as much.
She's one of 4 1/7 statues that has been made now.
Right? Yeah,
So
she's like the most popular in China, I think,
yeah, it's
if I'm
wild.
correct. Yeah.
Uh, I yeah, I thought Zhangling was probably the most popular. I think like you cannot talk bad about her. She is easily the most beloved. I think universally character. And
In China or just everywhere?
I thought in China, but
Okay. Yeah, maybe in China, because yeah, she is obviously, national team superstar.
yeah, I think the Globa story when that came out that was
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, I triple nined her. I was like, you know what, this is this is worth it, just for Globa. Let's do that for Globa. Um, and then
There's a sorry, go ahead.
I deeply regretted not getting the Globa ramen dish that was out for a hot minute.
What? What is the ramen dish?
Oh my, okay, I have to show this to you. Hold on. Yeah, so there's a Globa ramen dish. Let me share this stuff here. It was out on Ami Ami for like a while. I will show you all at home as well in just in un moment. Oh, maybe it's here. The official shop. Yeah, there you go. There it
Oh, the
is.
bowl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The bowl, I did see it. No, that I love that. And that's like, like what other game has merch like a ramen bowl?
It's
Is that
so
just a bowl? I thought like it was a cooking pot. Like it looks massive.
Yeah, it looks like it has some heft to it
Yeah,
for
high
sure.
quality ceramic. Definitely looks high quality.
It's dope. They make the coolest merch. I don't know. There was they had, oh god, what were they? They were the ice hilly churl. They had slippers for them at one point. Like they make really cool stuff. And their desk mats are actually very reasonable priced. Just passing that along if that is of interest to you.
Did I mention to you that I was like almost seriously considering the Paimon gaming chair?
No, but I was too a little bit.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, and I've told you this before, like Paimon is like honestly my favorite character, which is not many people, are shameless enough to say that, but
It's an uncommon opinion. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, my favorite character is not even a playable character, but I adore Paimon and I saw that chair and it looks ridiculous but like let's be honest, like how many gaming chairs don't look ridiculous?
True.
And I was in the market for a gaming chair, so I looked at it and just oh man, I ended up not getting it because the deal breaker was so it's by Razer, and Razer at the front of all of their cushions
Mhm.
like to what's the word, embroider the text, and it just says like by gamers for gamers,
Oh
and
no.
that just makes me that is to me that is highly unfortunate. So I ended up not getting that chair and I got a Secret Labs instead. It doesn't have Paimon on it, but yeah, it
I actually didn't know that about the Razer chairs. That's
well
cringe.
they
That's
yeah,
big
yeah, I
cringe.
mean I just made your decision for you.
Which I mean, I love Razer. I've got the webcam. I've got the mic now. I said goodbye to the
You
Blue
have a Razer
Yeti.
mic?
I do. I have the Siren X, which I heard a lot of people kind of dump on a little bit, but I find it delightful. It's
Mm.
very light. It's small. It's not. It doesn't weigh like 6 pounds like the Blue Yeti does. It's
Yeah, Blue
nice.
Yeti's chonky.
He's a chunky boy. It is absolutely.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, you don't have to get the chair if you don't want like the mouse actually looked pretty clean actually.
Right? That's what I thought too.
Um,
I'm a sucker for anything that's like a deep navy blue though. Like that's my color. That's my go-to shade for pretty much anything.
yeah, well, and it contrasts so nicely with the gold. Um,
Mm.
I used to own a Death Adder, which is their mouse. The shape is like very much not for me, but I think just based on aesthetic alone, it's quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they make stuff that looks good. And anytime I go to a review, everybody always dunks on Razer stuff, which I don't understand. I've never had an issue with it. I've gone through 3 Yetis. So far, this mic is holding up perfectly fine. 3 Yetis in 3 years, by the way, just to clarify. Um,
I don't know how that doesn't seem right.
right?
Do they
Yeah,
don't they have warranty on that stuff? Surely it lasts at least a
they
year.
do. The first time, I stopped doing the warranty because the first experience I had was so bad.
Okay.
The first experience I had with a warranty was I had to pay to ship it to them. I had to pay to receive it because
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
they ended up replacing it, but only after 5 weeks later, since they received the package, so
Hmm.
that they could quote unquote test it and make sure I wasn't frauding them. I assume.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like I stream, I make videos.
Yeah, you
Uh,
almost need like two to just like juggle. One stays in warranty and then one stays at home.
yeah, I had a snowball that was like from way back in the day. So I was using that, but there's no condenser on it. There's no really can't really customize it outside of OBS, so it was not holding up the way I had hoped. But I may do, and I was like, after the second one dumped, I was like, well, I don't want to go through that again. So it's literally sitting in a drawer in my room, cuddled up next to the most recent one that decided to die on me. So
Well, I'm glad you're happy with your new purchase.
I am, and now I don't have to buy a Paimon chair, so that's great. Love that.
God, I still want it though. I still want it.
Yeah.
Maybe like
Can you
I'm
take
hoping in a
the?
year
Can
the
you
people
take it
who bought
off?
it. No, no, no. I think it's just like printed into the leatherette or whatever is wrapped
Oh,
on the chair.
that's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, like you can put a blanket on it if you really need to, but it's just got her like insignia just massively printed on the back. I'm hoping that
I
like in a
do.
year or so, people who bought the chair no longer like Genshin, and then that's when I swoop in and get it off of eBay or something
Oh yeah, get
for
it
like half the price.
get it way cheaper. Yeah. Let me see if I can. Oh, here we go. It occurs to me I haven't shown you guys what this is yet.
Oh my god. Can
Uh,
you go back up to that header, please?
absolutely.
What are the okay, sorry, a little bit down. It says emergency food. I can't believe they put that joke here too. More than
More than
emergency
emergency
food.
food. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Come on. Oh, that's cool.
Hi. That is very green.
That's Razor.
Doing razor. All right. So this is the chair. Oh yeah, there it is.
Right? Like everything would have been okay until you laid your eyes on the text.
That's such a dope chair though. If you just ignore that,
Yeah, the
it's a
colors are
great
like
chair.
legitimately clean.
The mouse is sick. I'm gonna like legit.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
ain't even mad about that mouse. I may buy that mouse at some point.
Dude, yes. And the best part, you get 200 primo gems. That's like a summon and a bid.
True. True.
Crazy.
You can't go
And you have
wrong.
500 for spending like $500 on the chair.
uh,
Pretty wild.
yeah, this is a sick chair. Honestly, like I don't even mind the back really. Like it screams Paimon. I don't care about that.
Yeah, like they could have made it more cringe, you know? Like if you go to the mouse pad, and the mouse pad looks fine for, a mouse pad that you're going to be
Yeah.
putting your mouse on. Like if they just printed that image on the chair, that would have,
Hmm.
made the appeal go all the way down for
Yeah.
me, I think.
This legit looks just like a Genshin in like Impact mouse pad that they made, and then Razor's like, "Hey, let me put our logo on there," and then they
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah,
This
yeah, yeah.
legitimately feels like some kind of collaborative work that they did.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. God, that mouse is sick though. That's such a good mouse. It looks similar to the one I have too, the shape and whatnot.
Christmas is coming up.
I'm thinking about it, bro. I'm gonna drop a hint to Jenna later. Be like, hey,
I'll drop the hint to Jenna.
remember that mouse that we talked about like a long time ago? Full disclosure to everyone, um, Jenna wanted to get me a new chair because mine has been broken for like 2 years now. Where occasionally I'll just slowly shrink down as the stream goes on because the mech that keeps the chair propped up has decided to it's not worth living anymore. And so she wanted to replace my chair. And when this got shown off during I think it was the 2.1 stream that they did, she was like, "How much is it?" I was like, "You don't want to know." She was like, "Do you want it for your birthday?" I was like, "No, that's insane." But I was like, "But are you serious though?" And yeah, so that's. But I think the mouse is a nice little like it's even. You know, I feel like that's a nice compromise. It still looks
Yeah.
pretty sick.
It's like a super solid stocking stuffer.
God, why'd they have to put that trademark there though? That's so bad.
It's bad on like it doesn't even matter what the rest of the chair looks like. If it's a black chair and that text is there, unless the text is like in black as well, black
Hmm.
on black, that you can barely even see it.
Yeah.
It would still like just knowing that it's there. I hate.
This tagline embodies the stereotype that gamers have been trying to shrug off since the early 2000s. That's what I
Yeah.
hate about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's particularly bad for gamers using the word gamers, but like for any industry, like really, just like for artists by artists, like it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it works on like a particular part of the audience, but I don't know, for quote unquote professionals or like for people who are really,
Hmm.
for people who take gaming really seriously, or for artists who take art really seriously, it never really quite works out.
Oh God. Well, that's disappointing. Well, at least I didn't spend the money on it, right? That's good to know.
Yeah, we
Love.
got to know that. I'm happy knowing that it exists, regardless.
Yeah, yeah. If I see it on eBay, I'll drop you a note. Like, hey,
Hell yeah, dude.
guess
Yeah, we
what's up?
gotta get it shipped from the US.
Right?
Crazy expensive, but I don't know.
God.
Maybe someday. Hopefully, someone just wants to get rid of it fast enough that they're like
Yeah. Well,
$20. No.
I don't know if you've tried to get anything from like Ami Ami or what have you. I know we've had our own personal debacle with sending cipher cards
Yeah.
of all
Yeah.
things. But I just got an invoice for an Ami Ami purchase that was supposed to ship in September. So we're a little backlogged presently.
Yeah. Yeah, they are for sure. I've been historically I mean, I've ordered from them for years, and for the most part they've been pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, in recent times I can understand if there's some delays
Yeah.
here and there.
It's sad. Every time I place an order now, it's like, oh, ciphers aren't coming anymore. That's sad. Because like for 3 years, I was getting cipher boxes from them,
Right, right.
and now that doesn't happen anymore. But well, I'm glad that you're still enjoying Genshin. I know that you have a bit of a Hearthstone bug currently, that you've settled back into.
I think I'm going to delete
former
it from
Heart
my
Star.
computer tonight. I have to. I'm going to lose so much more time if I don't. Yeah.
How many Hearthstone hours have you logged in the last week?
I literally started playing yesterday and it's been like 12 hours or something.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what?
Something stupid.
Maybe there's like a diminishing return though. Like maybe you just gotta like go hard for like 3 days, and then you'll just want to play like 2 hours a day after that.
They're all just so good. I was telling you, just like it's not just Hearthstone. I was trying out like Magic the Gathering Arena. I was trying out um Griftlands, and I beat
Mm.
Inscription. So yeah, all these card games are just really, really good now. And the thing is like they I don't know if I'd call them like fulfilling. Like there's never the ideas, there's new mechanics and whatnot, but like the the new number of like completely new ideas that just like captivate you and like teach you something new and like really engage you, those aren't really always there. But I feel like card games are just really cozy when you don't want to commit to anything like a 50-hour JRPG. You just
Mm.
turn on a game and you can enjoy like a 15-minute match, and you can
Not.
play as many 15-minute matches as you want,
Yeah.
which is how that turns into 12 hours. But like I don't know, it's just cozy. It's just like, especially now that it's getting cooler, it's fun to just curl up and play a game
Mm.
of cards.
Yep. I I have notoriously every December I start a massive JRPG, and I think I may start Ryza, or
Okay. Yeah.
I may redo Xenoblade 2. I haven't decided yet. Because
Ah.
last year was definitive edition for Xenoblade. Um, I don't know what I'll do this year, but
Isn't it Shattered who's beaten Xenoblade too, like 5 times or something like that?
I don't know. I know I have like an insane amount of hours logged, and it's like 100% completed, both in
Yeah, that's wild to me.
and the DLC. I have like 800 hours on the game. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, as someone who almost like has never replayed and finished the replay of a game, yeah, yeah. I don't know, like very different mindset.
It
But I can imagine why it's like far more cozy than like starting something new.
Yeah,
Uh,
it came at a time where the game came out at a time where I really needed a distraction.
mhm.
So it was kind of a perfect storm of sorts. And I had not played Xenoblade ever, and I saw the Nintendo Direct, and I was like, oh, that was kind of interesting. Xenoblade 2, there was a first one. Must be, you know. I remember it coming out like Xenogears and the Xenosaga and stuff like on PlayStation. I was like, it's been around a while. I should give it a shot, and I did, and I loved it. And it allowed me to escape the reality that I couldn't find a job, and the real world sucked, and everything was okay.
When you put it
Yeah,
that way, I honestly think that might be like the core appeal of Genshin too. Is that
right?
like at
Yeah.
its obviously like I wouldn't recommend you start a new account and then replay Genshin. I mean
God
you
no.
could and just play like free to play on that account or something, but yeah, like Genshin was at its best when you just had a seemingly like bottomless pit of content to like dive into and just an
Hmm.
entire world to explore. And you could go in any direction and then find like nonstop treasure and loot and dungeons to explore and whatever.
Yep. And it
um
it came out about 6 or 7 months after Animal Crossing came out. So it, for someone who wanted cozy but maybe more anime, right? Than Animal Crossing, which isn't hard to do. Animal Crossing isn't exactly what I would consider anime. Uh,
no. Yeah, I
it
watched it.
came at a good time.
Yeah, it did. And it I watched a video and they basically described it as like one of the most idyllic games. You can just wander around and it just feels like the perfect escape to, you don't even have to be, having like a super rough time IRL, but like it just,
Hmm.
no matter what, you just dive in. It just feels like you want to escape to this place, even though there is conflict and there is whatever in this world. It just feels like the perfect like paradise for you to
Yeah,
kind of wander around.
and you can overcome the conflict. That was the biggest draw for me, especially in like I knew that, yeah, outside of the real world, right? I somehow had the tools available to me to succeed in this, artificial creation
Yeah.
existence, and that that's the escapism I always seek. I was looking for some kind of isekai, and that did enough for me, I guess, in a sense. But um, yeah, just Genshin coming out like mid pandemic was really good. It came at a
Hmm.
really good time. It was cozy. It was on literally every platform except the Switch for the most part. But I guess if you have a PC, then that's not really an issue either. So,
Yeah, I think they're still working on it in it Japan and China, I think, at the very least.
oh, cool. I know that there is a Genshin Impact on Switch trailer. That's like over a year old now.
Yeah, yeah.
The infamous trailer. And every time I stream it, people are like, "When's this coming to Switch?" I would play it if it was on Switch. I was like, oh, fair point.
Yeah, I think that's when your audience is really gonna cross over, right?
I
That's when,
assume
yeah,
if you only can play this on like an iPhone or something, like I get it, bro. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I don't know how mobile players do it, like trying to catch a firefly, or like uh, even just picking up like a mint plant. I assume that has to be absolute torture on mobile. I
you
don't
basically
know.
have to be like young enough to have grown up with it or grew up in an environment like Asia markets where that's basically what everyone does.
That's
Like I've
wild.
seen the videos, I've seen the reviews of because I recently tried to install it on my first gen iPad Pro and it chugs. It does
Oh
not run
yeah.
well. But the new iPad mini that you can get for I don't know, like a few $100s,
Hmm.
runs it like a dream.
Really?
Like 60 FPS. And watching these reviews, the reviewer is like, going through rotations like crazy, like, any normal player would on a controller or keyboard.
Yeah.
And it just felt so bizarre just seeing him do it. Like even with especially with like Archer controllers too, because on a controller
Oh
you like
yeah.
hold a trigger and then you press the other trigger.
Yeah.
On touchscreen you press a button to like go into aiming mode and then you can shoot. So you do both things with your right thumb because you're constantly moving with your left.
Bro, what?
Yeah, and but they were killing it. So I don't know. It works for some people.
I will never complain about doing the music events on a PlayStation controller ever again. Like,
I heard it's actually easier to do that on a phone because
yeah.
the notes are way closer to each other, I guess.
Mm, that makes sense.
Um, yeah, and it's probably easier to use like your middle and your index fingers as well, so you can like multitask a little bit more. But
Yeah. I got hands that look like spider legs whenever I'm trying to do that.
yeah,
Uh I love those events for what it's worth, but you get arthritis just from trying to hold the controller to be able to do it. But
yeah, they do a good job of like mixing it up. Um,
I know, which you've never played the hide and seek event, I don't think.
yeah, I've heard about it,
Yeah,
and I forget, was there multiplayer?
it was, yeah.
Okay,
But
yeah. So I think that's what would make it fun.
you had to play with people who weren't on your friends list, so you couldn't rig the games and get rewards that way,
Right.
which
That
was
makes
dumb.
sense.
And then they also limited the number of times you could play per day.
As they do with everything. Yep.
Like, oh, there's this really fun thing you can do with people, but you can only do it 4 times a day, and also no friends. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like if they just cap the rewards and then let you play with friends, I don't see
Right. Like,
the issue
why?
with that.
I like just stop gaining event currency after 5 times, right? Like best of 5, and then you're done. That's all they had to do.
Dude,
But
the newest event is honestly really good, and I think like if there were to be one of the modes, if there were to be an event that just they kept as a permanent game mode like Abyss, like I think this is it. And then just add some multiplayer like co-op in there,
mhm.
and I think you've got a hit on your hands. But yeah, it really makes me wondering what they're thinking about over there in terms of like, do they even care about giving people more end game content? Do most
the
of the players care about end game content? I don't know.
I hope they do. I think I think there's like an endless dungeon run type deal, similar to what we have right now in Honkai. I think. I've seen people
Okay.
compare it to some kind of game mode in Honkai, which is like recurring. So I'm hopeful, but I know the inevitable, Thanos snap will happen and all good things come to an end with Genshin. That's what they do a really good job of creating the sense of fear of missing out. You never
Yeah.
know when the limited banners are gonna have characters come back, weapons come back. You never know when you're gonna get another event type that you really like. Which Theater Mechanicus is dope. I love that. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm hoping that comes back again. What is it, during Lantern Rites? I think that's
yeah,
when it first came out, right? So
yeah. Which
maybe.
Inazuma had a twist on it. The Lantern Rite version was different than the one we had in the Inazuma version. Which so they actually tweaked it for the better during the Inazuma event. So
That's
I'm
good.
I'm I'm hopeful because they actually progressed and like fixed a lot of issues that I feel like people gave them during the feedback period.
Good.
So
Yeah.
I hope that one returns. I'm very much looking forward to it. Um, I know we could talk about Genshin all day and all night. Just have a boys' night here, but uh, Smash Ultimate. I want to touch on that real quick because I know we had exchanged a couple talking points about that back when it happened. First off, how do you feel about Sora as the final character to hit the Ultimate roster?
So I grew up only having a GameCube
There.
and no PS2. There is one drawing I did of Sora on DeviantArt from like late 2000s, and that was specifically because I saw that Sora was an anime looking character, and I knew that I liked anime like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, and I said, "Hell, Sora seems popular. I'm gonna draw him." So that is really like all of the about as like close as Kingdom Hearts the franchise has gotten to me. That being said, watching the trailer was I was very like I was genuinely excited for all the fans because I
Sure.
could tell like how much it would mean to them. And like it doesn't even matter what character is released. Sakurai's trailers always hit and they hit hard.
Yeah.
So just seeing the way that he was revealed and just seeing the execution of that and just I could hear the screams, just from home of everyone who grew up with the game. So yeah, I was super glad and thankful that this character that was voted number one on all of the Smash Wii U polls actually came out. So yeah, that's awesome.
I think the poll reveal was maybe one of the more interesting points that got glossed over with that Smash Direct. Honestly, I think it's really interesting that Iwata had the foresight to not reveal what the poll was way back when. I know it feels like forever ago that happened, but I specifically remember because I entered Professor Layton. That that was my pick. Professor Layton was my pick. Um, and I remember that poll, and to have it come full circle like that was kind of interesting because I had always assumed that it had something to do with that, right? I think everybody kind of did, but to have that confirmation was a nice little piece of closure. How do you feel about uh, the series as a whole? Because like Ultimate is kind of a definitive term almost, you
Right.
know. And like, how do
I
you
don't I
how
don't
how
want
do
to
you up it at this
Yeah,
point?
exactly. I don't want to say like I would be okay if this is the last Smash game ever because one it won't be. And Sakurai just deserves to make whatever he wants to now, like like the new 3D Kirby game. I hope that's making him
Yeah,
ultra happy. Um yeah, it's hard. Like, are they just gonna port this game forever? Are they gonna what could they possibly do with it to unless the next one's like dramatically different? Like no matter what, people are gonna compare it to this game, right?
yeah. It's such a legacy. Uh, they crossed. I mean, they did a deal with Disney basically. Like that little flash of the Mickey emblem in that trailer and in this game now was probably so hard to work out.
Yeah, it
Um,
probably cost more than the rest of the trailer.
yeah, exactly. Like Disney money runs deep. Bam. Like there was some bargaining. I think the imagery of Sora and Mario like shaking hands at the very end of Sora's reveal trailer. Um, I don't want to read into anything, but I almost feel like that was like some sort of symbolic partnership. Uh,
Kingdom Hearts 4, now with more Mario.
and I remember during the direct where they announced Chris Pratt was Mario, and that's the world that we're living in now. Um, I remember people being like, "Oh, there's no Smash. Why aren't they opening with Smash?" Blah blah blah. And then they said like, "Hey, we're going to talk about Smash and have it be its own thing." Like Bayonetta would have been overshadowed. The Mario movie would have been overshadowed. Any of the indie pieces that they showed would have been overshadowed. Like literally nothing. Like revealing Sora, okay, and then saying that the Kingdom Hearts collection was coming to Switch, bro. Like say what you want. Nobody would have talked about literally anything else from that direct. Like it needed to be its own thing. And I think it's nice that they gave Sakurai his own time to really like kind of take some time and reflect on it. I assume Sakurai is feeling got a sense of catharsis from that last
I hope
presentation.
so. Yeah, I
Uh,
really hope so.
it's like it's I know nothing about game design. I'll put that out there now, but I know from the industry stories that we've all heard that it has to be a very tireless and at times thankless because I feel like people are probably quicker to point out bugs than to be appreciative of the product at all. You know, not really caring about the character's development, how long that took, the deals it took to get in there, but like asking, well, when's the buff coming? Right? When's the next buff coming in the patch?
Yeah. It's
Um,
just how could you make me happy
right.
and how quickly can you do it?
Yeah. And so I'm happy for Sakurai on a human level. I think because the man needs it. He like when you think back to this, okay, there were two waves of DLC, right? I think the second half was maybe more difficult. I mean, they had to rebuild all the stages to freaking work with Steve from Minecraft, okay? And then to work out the Sora deal, right? They got Sephiroth in there, which, good God, I mean, there was so much and they did it during a pandemic. Like people were working from home on this nonsense. That's insane.
Japanese people were working on this from home.
Yeah,
Nintendo employees was working on this from home. That's the crazy part.
yeah. I mean it's wild. Um, and to have it, I mean I don't even think there were no delays, right? Like they still delivered in like a timely manner. Like
Yeah.
that's bonkers. So I'm personally I'm happy for Sakurai and Sakurai's team, and I'm glad that, like you said, there's a 3D Kirby coming out. I will be. I've never played a Kirby game outside of Kirby's Epic Yarn. It's my only Kirby
Yeah, I'd
game
like to buy
exposure.
it just to say thanks to him, Like
Right.
that's it.
I want to purchase in solidarity, straight up. The fact that it takes place in like a post-apocalyptic San Francisco is
Yeah.
that's a perk, I guess. I don't.
I got flashbacks to that trailer when I saw the Bayonetta 3 trailer,
hmm
and I was like, "Oh, this could just be the same world."
hmm
This could yeah, it felt very, un-Kirby like, but maybe that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, it's Kirby Odyssey. That's 100% what it is.
Right.
I love it. I'm here for it. I will buy that game. I ain't even mad. Um, so yeah, with peace and love to Sakurai and the team. You won't see this. I doubt you guys are members, but peace and love. Metroid Dread, however, did come out. We're still waiting on Prime, right? Been delayed for
Whatever.
years now.
Yeah, it's fine.
But we
Not
got Dread,
expecting anything.
which as soon as I finished it, we both. Which, if you don't want spoilers, don't listen. I guess that's what it is. There is a trailer or a demo out now. You should download it if you haven't gotten it already. It's 100% worth the price. I know a lot of people were touting that like a $60 game for what it is that you can. I think the speedrunners are
Can we
clearing
talk
it.
about that?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can we talk about game length versus asking price?
for
And,
sure.
like, what people's expectations are and, what is too long, what is too short? Like, in your opinion,
Mhm.
like, what is and be as vague or as specific as you want, but, like, what is a good threshold for a $60 US dollar game?
I honestly I don't have one. I think I cleared. So I'll put an example to this. Last year I bought Pokemon Sword, or the year before. I don't remember. Pokemon Sword. It came out. I played it.
Time is a myth.
I think I cleared it in 15 hours.
That seems really fast
Yeah. Well,
for Pokemon.
I used my starter and just spammed, and that was it. That's all I had to do. I got no. I had no challenge from it. Right. I had very little enjoyment from it. I have not touched it since. I have sunk maybe 15, 16 hours into Pokemon Sword, and that's it. I was like, I'm not going back to this. Metroid Dread cost the same amount. I beat it in, I think, like under 7 hours ish, under 8, definitely under 8, somewhere around 7 maybe. I enjoyed that tenfold more than Pokemon Shield. Same price, half the playtime, right? The first thing that happened when I finished it, I was like, bro, I gotta play this again. I gotta run this again. Or I have to 100% and then I'll go back and replay. Right? Because I'm a completionist at heart and I hate that about myself. But it is what it is. But same price, half the playtime, a lot more enjoyability. I would pay well, I say that. I actually got the special edition for Dread. So it was actually more than 60. But I would pay $100 for Dread. Easily.
And I did. But it came with a nice shiny steel case.
Oh my god, dude, that steel case is so sick.
Yeah.
It's good. If you guys have a chance to get the special edition, I don't know if it's still like out there, but if you can get it, you should.
And honestly, like the art book is really, really good as
Yeah.
well.
It's I'm a sucker for any like developmental sketch that exists. So
Yeah, as someone who's bought like a decent amount of special editions, a lot of them come with like very bare bones sketchbooks or like art books,
mhm,
which usually means that later they're just going to make like a full thick boy with like all of the drawings.
yep.
Examples like Fire Emblem Awakening had a huge art book that obviously you would never fit into a special edition, but this like Metroid Dread book actually feels like all of the art that
Yeah.
they would have used in this game. And there's like so many environments. You see all the like scrap designs for Samus's suit, which like are super fascinating. So yeah, would highly recommend just for that. um because I feel like it's the only art book that's going to come out for this game, honestly.
Hmm. What about you? What are your what's your I think the $60 complaint for what it is nonsense, personally. I don't care if it's 40, 20, 80, 100. I would pay it. I think it's literally that good. I think it's that enjoyable. I think it's worth it. Um it had this, I think I mentioned this to you before. It had this thing where when I kept getting beat by a boss, I slowly learned how to combat it. I slowly got better. And that feeling of progress is what kept me going and it kept me playing. It's a game you can't put down. It's like
Like
Hearthstone.
I think when you put it that way, it's actually not even that it's slowly getting better. I think it's like getting better at the perfect pace. Like every
Mm-hmm.
run, you feel like you've gathered something new about the attack pattern, something new about like how you can respond with Samus's move set. So it it's like, because if it's too fast, then it actually feels easy. If it's too slow, you're probably going to want to give up. But if it's just every time you've made it, you know, an extra like fraction of a phase, and you feel that, and you just want to keep going. So I think they've really perfected that difficulty curve.
Yeah. Um I
To
I,
to
I
answer. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
I interjected and just went on a rant. So tell tell me your feels about that.
So in general, I agree. That I value quality over quantity. I guess like the one, maybe it's my job to like play devil's advocate here, but I guess the one scenario I can think of is, if I still was a version of myself from high school who could basically only afford a game every like 3 months or something because
Mm.
I either made very little or I just didn't have a job at all, and just bought all my games with allowance money or holiday money. Maybe like it becomes more of a argument. That being said, I think there are like so many options for games that are out there, especially if you are on a budget. So there's just like, you can play Hades, which is always on sale for like $20, and you can
Yep.
run that for like 100 hours, right? And it's 100 like quality hours. So
Yeah.
those are there. So that really brings the argument to like, do you really need to play Metroid? And do you also need it to be long with the amount of money that you have, I guess, which really just means like I don't know, you don't want to miss out on a big franchise, you really want to talk about with your friends, but you're, you know, tightly strapped for cash. So it's just a bunch of things coming together, and it'll vary wildly depending on everyone's personal financial situation, but I don't know. I'm personally like I just like so many games that if I had a fraction of, the income that I do, I think I would always be able to find something I would really enjoy. There's like Steam sales for like $5 for like Game of the Year awards from like a few years ago, like it just depends on whether or not you have to be like play the latest and greatest that's coming out.
Yep.
Um Yeah, there's almost like no scenario from my experience where I felt like if the game is really good, if it's like 2 hours, well, 2 hours maybe. The analogy I always use is like if I'm willing to pay $15 for a movie that is 2 hours, then why not a game that is four times the price as well as four times the runtime, which is like $60 for 8 hours, basically.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
I think it's a really Yeah, it's a really clear analogy that puts it into perspective. And the game is something that, like you said, you can keep playing to 100% it. You can replay it to maybe see different routes, different endings, and different whatever. And it is more engaging. You're paying attention and you're inputting commands the entire time. So
Mhm.
I don't know. In my opinion, it's actually it's more value simply because the player is more involved as it's more like a conversation between the player and the game. You put stuff into the game and the game gives you stuff back.
And,
Whereas a movie is just you're passively watching. So
and that's actually a really good point that I want to bring up too. That touches on it. Uh, this is now. I will be completely transparent. Okay, please don't cancel me on Twitter. The only other Metroid game that I have played in full, right, is Other M,
Yeah.
the one that people don't talk about and don't want to talk about. Okay, so maybe I don't have the right perspective, but based on my conversations with you, uh, this was a Metroid game specifically, designed a little bit different in the sense where, for example, uh, breaks are rewarded, right, with different kinds of cutscenes and such, depending on your progression, right, what you have, what you don't have when you encounter a boss. And so it was kind of built for people who want to do kind of those progress breaks where I'm probably using the wrong term, but where they want to go get space jump early, right? Or they want to get bombs early. The game actually rewards people, so it was kind of like
Oh, you're
built
talking
for
about sequence breaks
sequence breaks. Yeah,
in Dread,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it kind of rewards people from a speed run aspect. So it was kind of, I think you used the phrase, it was made for the community in a sense.
Made by speedrunners for speedrunners.
Oh God,
Nice. At least they didn't say it. I said it for them.
Razor got us. Oh no.
They really did. Yeah, I mean, because you could tell that there was so much care put into the game from every perspective. You know, you could tell that these were devs that watch Super Metroid being run at AGDQ every year, and as they were designing it, they put all of that into perspective. So it's just a yeah. Every corner, every like little detail of the game is just so nicely ironed out. And like when Samus runs into a wall, I remember there was that viral tweet where like they closed in on her animation of her pressing her hand against the wall when she
Mm.
like runs right up against it. There's small details like when you dash towards a brick that's like one tile high, she just like vaults over it automatically, like not losing any
Mm-hmm.
momentum. And these are all details that were like did not exist before in other Metroid games. And the wildest part is that this game comes from Mercury Steam, who is they made one, Metroid game before this, but then they made like these very middling Castlevania 3D Castlevania games,
Oh.
Lords of Shadow 2, which is kind of wild because Metroidvania is a genre, and they
Mm.
came from like making these weird, very not Metroidvania Castlevania games into making like now like top tier Metroidvania games, right? So their progress and their story has been super inspiring and super motivating just to see. So yeah, I'm really happy for them too.
Wow, that's wild. I didn't know that. Um, but yeah, I guess the extra details that they've added that you've mentioned kind of shows um, that they did put effort into it, and they paid attention to detail. They made a game that felt cared for, I think, is how I would
Yeah.
describe it.
At the end of the
Um,
day, seeing like someone really give a shit is
right?
aspiring and it's admirable, and yeah, it just feels good.
Coming from someone who pumps out gotcha games a lot, it, it, I would pay $80 for an experience like this again, easily. Because there are.
When you frame it like that too, I think it's far more obvious as well. Yeah.
Mm,
Would I rather pay $60 for a 10-hour game or $60 for a chance at getting the PNG that I want?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not the right person to give context to that argument. Um, but I think overall, I think it's worth. I won't get into the Kotaku article of just telling people to basically pirate it uh, before they edited it and said what they said. But don't do that. It's definitely worth your time. There's a demo now. Play the demo. If you got, I know like there's a handful of you who are going to care about this game or this genre. But give the
Brian, if I
demo a
put you on
try.
the spot, if I
Yeah.
put you on the spot right now, can you tell me what your favorite moment from the game is? And if you can't, I can go first.
Ooh. My favorite moment was, I think it was probably figuring out how do I describe it? So there's a moment where you encounter like twin robots or like a pair of robos,
The Bird
bird
Bros, yeah.
bird bros, yeah. And I died so many times trying to go. So the moment that I realized the pattern that they had and how to manipulate that, I felt very smart, and I was very proud of myself. Now, from a visual aspect, I will say the last boss fight and then the escape run was freaking insane. Okay, I don't know if this is a common thing in Metroid games because again, Other M is my only other exposure to the franchise. But that final suit was sick. Like it was pretty dope.
Monstrous.
Yeah.
Demonic.
Yeah. Did you what was your I assume you had several favorite moments.
I honestly, so like tying on to the point from before about being able to tell how much care the creators had for this game, I
Hmm.
think one of the more obvious ones to me was during the scene where she spoke with I forget his name, the Chozo Oldbeak or something, uh the guy
Oh,
who shuts
yeah, yeah,
down
yeah.
the Emmy for her for that a brief moment where she, so the scene where she spoke like a single line of Chozo was by far my favorite, because it just showed such a fine balance and understanding of like all the previous games and how audiences reacted to them. Like you said, like people didn't like Other M, and one of the reasons was because Samus was like a chatterbox, and she just went on and on about, you know, how frail she is and what she's afraid of and her past traumas and what, and there's a place for that, but I don't think that's what people like about Samus.
Right.
Um so they, I think there was like that speaking line. I think there might have been one or two other ones that I honestly don't know where they're from, but that one part, the first time you hear her speak, I'm really glad it wasn't English, and I'm glad it was like as brief as it was, because I don't know, in my eyes Samus is just like the ultimate badass, and from that line to like a couple early moments in the game, like her versus Kraid, where you know he's like this massive guy, but you know she's fought him before. She's done this shit so many times by now. She's gone through, you know, 4 other mainline games, 3 other Prime games. Kraid doesn't phase her at all now. So
Hmm.
she's just like confidently walking back and forth, you know, pointing her arm cannon at him, taking these shots. Same thing with like the first boss. There's just like these very brief but key like badass moments of Samus doing like the coolest shit until, you know, it all culminates at the end with like the grand finale that's like better than you know, any Metroid game ending, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like all of that just go, yeah, I think you'll really understand when you do, and when you do, not if, when you play the other mainline Metroid games, because I only just played them this year as well, and yeah, I don't
Oh,
know, it was
okay.
super fun to see them evolve over time.
Yeah, I think Samus Returns is on my short list to try and get. Um,
It's
because
super different. You'll have to,
is it
yeah, you'll. It's really really different. So be prepared for that, I guess, and keep your expectations in check for that. But
okay?
otherwise, I think it's still like a great time. Like
Because
the powers are like, there's a lot of different powers too.
this took place right. Dread. Speaking Dread. Dread took place right after the events of Fusion.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, the Metroid timeline is kind of wild too. I started watching some videos on people breaking down like the games and the story progression and stuff. And I'm a sucker for lore. I love tasty lore bits. Okay, like I will nibble on those all day. I feel like Metroid has some of it,
yeah,
and I kind of want to. That's what's drawing me in more. The gameplay itself is an interesting component. It's not really my main drive. I'm more interested in like the backstory and the lore of
It's not
things.
your main drive, really?
Yeah,
Because you were talking about like how like satisfying the boss fights were, right? That that like that's part of the gameplay loop, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. And I will admit it is a big part, but it's not the main drive for me.
Okay, interesting.
Gameplay rarely ever is, uh, in most aspects. But I do really enjoy. I think the thing I like the most about, um, again, just speaking from Dread, I can't really remember other M at this point. I remember having to point with a Wiimote and stuff at some aspect. But I think the thing I enjoyed most about the gameplay and the combat in Dread specifically is when I made a mistake, I was able to identify why it was a mistake, and the game almost kind of plunged me for it. It became very reactionary in terms of understanding what I needed to do after I made a mistake. Like there was an aha moment, like after every time I flubbed it,
Hmm.
and I liked that kind of quick learn reward process.
Yeah, it just feels like you're being taught, but like your brain is doing the work. It feels like your brain is doing the work, and you're
Right.
able to recognize it. So when you overcome it, you feel like you've naturally adapted on your own, even if some of that is from just really good game design and like
Mm-hmm.
obvious cues or like yeah things that there's a lot of things they can do to control how quickly you're able to learn.
And I think part of my like fascination with that is because I come from a world where everything is very turn based, right? So there's not like a lot of live action stuff going on. So when I encounter something like that, where the the game design is so intuitive and responsive that you actually think, like you said, you're figuring it out on your own, even though it's just brilliant game design for the most part. It's a very different experience, and I like that newness, and that's the main driving point behind the gameplay. But I do love lore. Lore will always be number one in my heart.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's mysterious. It's like atmospheric. I mean, lucky for you, I don't think there's gonna be a ton to have
No,
to recap through. It's like pretty much coverable within a single video, but
yeah, like
what's
20
there
minutes.
is fun. Yeah, yeah,
20 minutes,
yeah.
you're done.
Including the Prime games, even
Yeah,
exactly.
you know the whole timeline. And I love that because this series has been around for like what 20, 30 years now. Like
Yeah.
it's a legacy title. Um, it's when you don't have that much to catch up on, it doesn't feel that intimidating. Contrast with Legend of Zelda, right, where you have multiple timelines and there's branching games, and each of those games may pertain to a specific timeline. It can feel overwhelming to kind of get into, and I didn't really feel that way with Dread like I did when I got into Zelda. Admittedly late in the game, um, like Wind Waker. I played the oh shoot, I played the remake that came
Link's
out,
Awakening.
Awakening. Yeah, Breath of the Wild, obviously. So uh, yeah, it's less overwhelming in that aspect, and I like that. And there's a bit of Nintendo nostalgia as well that I can't help but be drawn in by. But I hope that they continue. I hope that Prime 4 is going well. I've had it pre-ordered for like 5 years now or something ridiculous. So I hope that continues.
We're able to pre-order it? Really?
Like a really long time ago, I still have the Amazon pre-order. Yeah.
Oh no. I'm shocked that they would have even put that up for pre-order.
Yeah, it's still there. I still have it. Uh, I've had to update the shipping address multiple times now. Even the payment method, I think, too, because we've moved so many times. But
Oh yeah, I see it on Amazon. Currently unavailable, but maybe it was at some point.
yeah, well, this is legitimately like years ago that that I had it. But
1 star on Amazon Canada.
Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah.
Understandable, but sad.
Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, so love Metroid Dread. Can't recommend it enough. As someone who doesn't play a lot of Metroidvania, uh, like Conrad had alluded to, um, I recommend it. I give it full support. Um, play the demo at least. At least play the demo. It's free. Play the demo. It's totally worth
Please, please, please try it. Please love it. Please buy it. Metroid
please
Prime
please
or Metroid
encourage
Dread.
encourage them to make more, please. Please and thank you.
Game of the year. Game of the year 2021.
Hands down. Hands down. Easily. I mean, there's not a whole lot of competition, but still, doesn't matter. Easily
Yeah.
game.
Let's talk about that.
Speaking of, is there anything as we kind of roll to a close here? Is there anything coming up that you're looking to play during the holidays, or just anything else coming up during the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, sort of like how we hinted at, it does really kind of feel like the year of the backlog. For me personally, most of the games I finished this year, and there's been a lot of them, are games from past years.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that's really hasn't released yet for the rest of the year is Shin Megami Tensei 5 next,
Ooh.
well, almost this month,
Yep.
which is horrifying. But yeah, that's really soon. I have the steel case version of that pre-ordered as well.
Nice.
I probably honestly would not have pre-ordered it if the steel case wasn't as sexy as it was, but I am quite excited to play that because Advanced Wars got pushed out to next year. Yeah, that would have been the last thing otherwise.
Yeah, spring 2022.
Yeah, 2022 is going to be a killer year for games for sure, but
It is. Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of games that had some delay issues, right? Because of the pandemic. So they're kind of catching up with some of those titles. And then you have some newly announced titles that are scheduled to come out because some countries got their act together, some didn't. Sorry, America. And then so you're gonna have games there too. They're coming out. I feel like this year, like you said, was kind of a backlog kind of year, which is fine. I still have a ridiculous amount of backlog. But the fact that the only thing keeping me sane, the fact that I don't have a PS5 yet, okay,
yeah,
is the fact that I have other games that I should be playing also because I've already paid for them and I have them, and I
and there's
should.
honestly not that many PS5 games that you can only play on PS5. So
It's legitimately the Final Fantasy VII remake
right,
DLC. Like that's it.
and
That's
that's a game
all I'm after.
right? Yeah, a DLC too, exactly.
Uh, yeah, it's the only thing which I mentioned to you pre call kind of was the Isle of Dragon Roars. Is kind of what I'm looking for. It's already out, so it's not coming. It's already here. It just came out like yesterday as of recording. This was kind of interesting, and it's made by quite a well known director. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, uh, Yoko Taro. So there's that. Saying, but it's yeah. This maybe has my interest peaked. I was kind of waiting for Advance Wars, like you said, but now I feel like this is gonna take up my time. The only thing that I'm kind of sad about is I was hoping it would come out with like a physical release and it would have some
Same.
dope like special edition stuff.
Just actual cards would have been
Right?
cool. Just like 3 replica cards of the
So
main characters.
easy. Such an
Yeah.
easy thing to do.
And you can just shove that in the case too, so like you don't even have to make a new box for it or anything.
Yup. Just slip it right where the manual holder is in the Switch case. They still have the little tongs where manuals would slide in for some reason. I don't know why they put those there. I've not
Yeah,
seen it.
sometimes it gets used, like Catherine, full body edition. I think my Switch copy came with like
True.
a pin or something.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know, like all these anime games, man, they it's mainly anime games who's like giving you stuff like that already, but yeah, this one could totally use a release like that. Same with like Castlevania, the Game Boy Advance collection.
Hmm.
I specifically only want to buy that if it's on physical, but
Yeah, I'm a very stubborn physical owner when it comes to
there's not
stuff.
many of us left, to be honest. I think like more and more people are just like converting to the convenience of digital, which I can understand, but
And I get it, but in my head, I am literally one failed password remembrance from
yeah,
losing everything I own.
right.
And that's the driving fear. Fear is the driving factor for me. I don't want to lose things. I've already lost my entire Pokebank with everything I've spent
Oh no.
collecting over 20 years. I don't want to do that again. Okay, I don't want that to happen again. And certainly not with all of my cherished memories. But luckily, we have a very expensive Nintendo. Uh, it's like a bundle now, I guess, for online stuff, Nintendo Online. We won't get into that because that's just absurdity.
Yeah, like is that fun to even talk about? I
It's
don't like
not. It's not.
it's just expensive. It's not it's boring. I don't know.
I'm really lucky because I renewed my family plan in September, so I don't think I have to upgrade.
Yeah, mine's in December, so I might have to look into that.
There's a whole other complication that I don't know that many people have touched on with like them offering a DLC add-on. Do you if you end your subscription, do you still own the DLC?
Right.
What
Yeah, like
happens?
do your Animal Crossing furniture just like vanish?
Right? Does the Thanos snap? Does Mario snap his fingers and just half of your data's gone? I don't know. Um, yeah, it's not a good. And I will say I have praised Nintendo in the past for their online game, like their netcode is bad. Okay, let's just be honest, not good. Don't get a Nintendo one. I got it for the data backup, and that was great.
Right.
Right? It's reasonably priced for that alone, and then you also get stuff like Nintendo. Like there was good stuff with it. The $80 price tag is way too much for a
That's where
family.
you can play Super Metroid on that Nintendo Online.
True, true. Uh, oh, actually, was it on any? I don't know if it was on the Nintendo Mini because I do have those. I'll have to check and see if they put that on. Was that Super Nintendo or
Yeah,
NES?
Super Nintendo Mini. I feel like they yeah, it is there.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I have that then.
Uh, I don't does the Mini have save states?
Yeah,
Okay, so it'll be like the same.
yeah.
I know in the Nintendo Online version, not only do you have save states, you can literally like backtrack the game, like rewind it.
Yes.
So if you like miss a fall, okay, if that's on the Mini too, then yeah, just pick whatever you want to
Yeah.
play on.
I discovered that for the first time when I was playing Super Mario RPG, I think. I went back and I was like, "Oh, like rewind stuff. That's very cool." So,
Yeah, it's better for some of the older, more frustrating parts of those games.
yeah. Yeah. That Zoomers, they'll never understand. They'll never know the struggle. Uh God, I feel old now. Okay. Well, anyway, buy Metroid Dread. Don't buy Nintendo Online for $60. You can get Metroid Dread for basically the same cost as Nintendo Online.
True.
That's a no-brainer. I'm telling you guys. Smart. Um well, hey, we've been chatting for like over an hour, man. I appreciate you coming on and talking all things games with me. Um this was very cathartic. I feel like we got hit hard in October with just like a lot of stuff, and it was nice to kind of like composite uh, all of it. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything else you want to comment on?
Uh, let's see. Okay, so definitely buy Metroid Dread. I have one
Mhm.
last thing to say. Check if you like Metroidvanias. Check out Fist Forged in Shadow Torch on Steam.
Yeah.
Because this is a Metroidvania game that I think is completely overshadowed by, I mean, Metroid. Um, so for those people who do think that a 10-hour game is too expensive for, or yeah, is too short of a game for $60, check out Fist because it is what is it? What is it? 40 Canadian. That's like 30 USD, right? For probably like a similarly length game, maybe even a little bit longer. But this is like the most graphically detailed Metroidvania game I've ever seen.
Oh, and it's
Um,
recent too, October
and
2nd.
that's why I'm really afraid that it's gonna go, under the radar because it
Mm.
is releasing around the same time. But I think it has something really unique to offer, and it's made by some indie devs out of China, I think. And if you know anything about Chinese devs, like they have the hardest time getting their eyes on their games. And it's like reviewed pretty well. You can see in the banner there just all the
Oh
scores,
yeah,
and I've played like 5 hours of it, and it's it's different from Metroid, but if you like exploration, and it mixes it up with like some beat 'em up combat. Just run around as like a veteran sort of mercenary ex-merc rabbit and just punch the shit out of everything with his big mech arm. Yeah, I don't know. It's very satisfying.
love it.
Yeah, and that's it.
Well, there you go. I've got it on screen for you guys so you can check it out.
Dude, look
Forged
at
in
the
Shadow Torch.
screenshots. Look at that screenshot specifically.
Yeah,
Like that's crazy to me that this is just a 2D game that just happens to look this good, with the steampunk like noir aesthetic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting like, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I'm getting like flashes of Wall Market from Remake.
Yeah.
Like it has that kind of aesthetic to it
All
almost.
the yeah, like all the Asian like neon lights,
Hmm.
everything's super dirty, and I don't know. It's just yeah, it's really well made.
Yeah, nice. Oh, look, Metroidvania. It has that tag right there.
Yeah, there you
There you go. That's a lot of good scores. Holy cow. All right. God is a geek. There you go.
go.
8.5 out of 10. Solid. Yeah, check it out. It looks good. I mean, I'm interested, honestly. That looks intriguing to me. I would check that out. Um, yeah. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, Conrad. I always appreciate it. We always have very good conversations. So I hope members you've also enjoyed. I will be linking all of Conrad's stuff down below. Be sure to go follow him on Twitter because there is a Beto drawing coming at some point. I'm very much looking forward to that. And I will continuously try to persuade him to draw other things that I want to buy and then frame and put on my wall. So who would want to miss that? But yeah, thanks again, Conrad. I appreciate you. Um, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. And until then, we will catch you next time.
Bye-bye.